Very good morning. We are going to see the revolutionaries. During the year following 1815, the fear of repression drove many liberal nationalists underground. Revolutionaries at this time meant a commitment to oppose monarchical forms and to fight for liberty and freedom. Mazzini, born in Geneva in 1807, he became a member of the secret society in the Carbonari. He went into exile in 1931 for attempting a revolution in Liguria. Mazzini believed that God had intended nations to be natural unit of mankind. Secret societies were set up in Germany, France, Switzerland, and Poland. Metternich described him the most dangerous army of our social order. Age of Revolution in 1830 to 1848. Okay, and as conservative regimes tried to consolidate their power, liberalism and nationalism came to be increasingly associated with the revolution in many regions of Europe, such as Italian and German states, the provinces of Ottoman Empire, Ireland, and Poland. When the Franz Metternich once remarked, the rest of the Europe catch cold. An event that mobilized nationalist feeling among the educated elite across Europe was Greek War of Independence. Greece had been the part of Ottoman Empire since 15th century. Greeks living in exile and also from many West European who had sympathized for ancient Greek culture. Now we are coming to the next part of the lesson. Then the romantic imagination and the national feeling. The development of the nationalism did not come about only through wars and territorial expansion. Culture played an important role in creating the idea of nationalism. Art and poetry, stories and music helped express and shape nationalist feeling. Let us look at Romanticism, a culture of movement which sought to develop a particular form of nationalist sentiment. Romantic artists and poets generally criticized the glorification of reason and science and focused instead of on emotion, institutions, and mythical feeling. The other romantic were through folk songs, folk poetry, folk dance that the true spirit of the nation. National feeling were kept alive through music and language. Karol Kurpinski celebrated the national struggle through his operas and the music, turning folk dance like the Polonaise and mazurka into nationalist symbols. Languages too played an important role in developing nationalist sentiment. Russian language was imposed everywhere. Many people of the clergy in Poland began to use language as the weapon of national resistance. As a result, a large number of priests and bishops were put in jail or sent to Siberia by Russian authorities as punishment for the refusal to preach in Russians. If we want to understand this part, we want to understand the lesson print culture. So we can see the development of print in Europe in this 18th century and 19th century. Then you will get how the people they started to read and understand, or why this folklore and culture like that things, or the paintings, everything getting the maximum influence among people. So for that purpose we will discuss some of the points after the revision. We'll discuss that lesson little bit, then you will get some more clarity about this portion. The next topic it is the hunger, hardship and popular revolt. In 1830s were year of economic hardship in Europe. The first half of 19th century saw an enormous increase in population, not only in Europe, everywhere. In most countries there were more seekers of job than employment. Population from rural areas migrated to the cities to live in overcrowded slums. Food storage was and widespread food shortage and the widespread unemployment brought the population of Paris out of on the roads. National Assembly proclaimed a republic, granted suffrage to all adult male above 21 and guaranteed the right to work. Earlier 1845, weavers in Sicily had led a revolt against the contractors who supplied the raw material and gave them order for finished textile. On 4th June at 2 p.m., a large crowd of weavers emerged from their homes and marched in Paris to the mansions of their contractors demanding higher wage. Same condition we can see in India also. Gandhiji inspired the workers of the cotton mill and asking 35% of increase in their wage. Okay, that is after 100 years. That only difference. The contractors fled with his family into neighboring villages, which however refused to shelter such a person. The villagers was not ready to give shelter to the contractors when they reached the villages. He returned 24 hours later, having requisitioned the army. With the help of army, they came back. In the exchange that followed, 11 weavers were shot. The army they came and shoot the crowd, and 11 members they died. 1848 revolution of the liberals. The poor, unemployed and the starving peasants and workers in many European countries in the year 1848, the revolution led by educated middle class was underway. Men and women of the liberal middle classes combined their demands for constitutionalism and with a national function. They drafted a constitution for a German nation to be headed by the monarchy, subject to a parliament. Wilhelm IV, the King of Prussia, rejected it and joined other monarchs to oppose the elected assembly, while the opposition of the aristocracy and the military became stronger and the social base of parliament eroded. The issue of extending political rights to women was controversial one within the liberal movement. Women had formed their own political associations, founded newspaper and taken part in political meetings and demonstrations. Women were admitted only as observers to stand the visitors gallery. Monarchs was beginning to realize that the cycle of revolution and repression could be ended by granting concession to the liberal national revolutionaries. The next points, making of Germany and the Italy unification, like that things already we have seen last day video, so I am not discussing that one. Visualizing nation and nationalism, that parts also we have seen. So just 2-3 points of each thing we will discuss. First one, the general thing about the making of Germany and Italy. In that, Germany can an army be the architect of the national. 1848, nationalism in Europe moved away from its association with democracy and revolution. It can be observed in the process by which Germany and Italy came to unified as nation states. Nationalist feeling were widespread among middle class Germans. This liberal initiative to nation building was, however, repressed by the combined forces of the monarchy and military, supported by a large landowners of the Prussia. Prussia took the leadership of the movement. 3 wars overseen years over 7 years with Austria, Denmark and France ended in Prussia victory and completed the process of unification. The nation building process in Germany had demonstrated the dominance of the Prussian state power. A new state placed a stronger emphasis on modernizing the currency, banking, legal and judicial system in Germany. Italy unified. Like Germany, Italy too had a long history on political fragmentation. Italians were scattered over several dynastic states as well as the multinational Habsburg Empire. Italy was divided into 7 states. Italian language had not acquired one common form and still had many regional and local variations. Then Mazzini had brought to put together a coherent program for the unitary Italian Republic, Young Italy, for the dissemination of his goal. The failure of the revolutionary uprising both in 1831 and 1848 meant that the mantle now fell off Sardia Padman under its ruler King Victor Emmanuel II to unify Italian states through war. Italy offered them the possibility of economical development and political dominance. Italy was neither a revolutionary nor a democrat. Italian population, among whom rates of literacy were high, remained blissfully unaware of illiteracy were high, remained blissfully unaware of the liberal nationalist ideology. The strange case of Britain, the model of the nation or a nation states, some scholars were argued, is Great Britain. It was a result of long drawn out process. There was no British nation prior 18th century. United Kingdom of Great Britain meant the effect of England was able to impose its influence on Scotland. British Parliament was henceforth dominated by its English members. Ireland was forcefully incorporated into United Kingdom in 1801. British flag and the national anthem and national language were actively promoted, and older nations survived only as subordinate partners of its union. Visualizing the nation. While it was easy enough to represent the rulers through a portrait or a statue, in other words, they represented a country as if it were a person. Nations were then portrayed as a female figure. The female figure became an allegory of the nation. And Christian Marina and the popular Christian name, which underlined the idea of people's nation, that is in France. Nationalism and imperialism. By the quarter of the 19th century, nationalism no longer retained its idealistic liberal democratic sentiments of the first half of the century, but became narrow creed with a limited end. The most serious source of the nationalist tension in Europe after 1871 was the area called Balkans. The Balkans was the region of the geographical and ethnic variations. One by one, its European subjects nationalities broke away and from its control and declared independent. Balkan areas became an era of intense conflict. The Balkan states were jealous of each other, and each hoped to gain more territory at the expense of each other. Both the idea that societies should be organized into nation states came to be accepted as natural and universal. Okay, thank you.